7 o'clock, and I'd like to call this District 204 regular action meeting to order. Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Yes, sorry. Member Alvarez.
Present.
Member Vita Daniels. Present. Member Gazelka Campbell.
Here.
Member Dillard. Here. Member Giannotti Fry.
Here.
Member Kennedy.
Present.
Member Lopez.
Here.
All right, I ask that we all rise and participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for
all. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, motion passes. First of all, it's wonderful to see so many people here. We've got some exciting things going on. But before we get to that, at the December 1st Committee of the Whole meeting, the board heard presentations from 5 real estate consultant firms who submitted proposals in response to the district's RFP that was distributed on November 5th. Following that meeting, each board member was asked to independently review the proposals as well as consider the information presented by each of the firms on December 1st. Then independently ranked each of the 6 firms who submitted proposals, with 1 being most favorable and 6 being least favorable. The results of the board members' rankings are publicly posted on our District Willow Springs website. This process has identified 3 firms as finalists in the process. This includes, in alphabetical order, CBRE, Mohawk Commercial and Urban Development, and NAI Hiffman. Currently, the district is conducting reference checks on each of these 3 firms. In addition, the district's council is conducting a legal review of each of these 3 proposals. This process will take some time to complete, and we anticipate having additional information to share at or prior to the January 20th regular action meeting. At this time, I will open the public hearing regarding the 2025 property tax levy. Director Brian Stashak.
Thank you, President Alvarez. One point that we need to discuss here at the public hearing is that of Public Act 1020895, which at this particular public hearing requires us to disclose the financial balances in the district accounts. And so I'm going to do that now. And these are as of November 30th, 2025. The Educational Fund, $7,486,521. The Operations and Maintenance Fund, $8,044,706. The Bond and Interest Fund, $1,537,403. Transportation Fund, $3,193,771. The IMRF Social Security Fund, $1,014,833. Capital Projects Fund, $4,382,117. And finally, the Working Cash Fund, $5,030,462. And I would just have the board note these numbers because we'll be coming back to talk about these a little bit later on the agenda.
All right. Thank you very much. Do we have anyone that wishes to comment during the public hearing at this time? I'm waiting my teacher 10 seconds. Okay. That being said, seeing as there are no comments, can we please have a motion and a second to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Stashak. Appreciate that. Our next item is public participation. Marilyn, do we have anybody signed up? We do. Excellent. As a reminder, there are 2 opportunities for public participation. The first opportunity is for individuals who signed up prior to the meeting. For those who wish to speak during our second opportunity at the end of the meeting, please see Marilyn Muscolino just outside the room. The board appreciates hearing from our community, but does not engage in dialogue or discussion. If there is a comment that requires follow-up, the appropriate administrator will respond at a later time. In accordance with board policies 2:230 and 8:30, we appreciate you limiting your comments to 3 minutes and for keeping tonight's meeting respectful and civil. Marilyn, will you please call our first speaker?
Josh Crawford.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm here because policy 7160, that student appearance, kind of confuses me how it's worded. it says hats should not be allowed, but hoods will be asked to be lowered if it obscures your face, which kind of implies to me, personally, that you can wear your hood, but it can be asked to be lowered when it needs to, but you can put it back up. That's kind of how I see it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Johannes.
Good evening, everyone. Well, we had a crazy day today at South Campus. Thank you to everyone for getting the students to designated areas and the B&G for dealing with the issue. Never a dull moment. I know we are celebrating several students and individuals tonight. Congratulations. As we approach the end of the semester, I want to begin by acknowledging just how busy the time of year is for everyone in our school community. Students are preparing for final exams and projects that represent months of learning. Teachers are grading assessments, finalizing grades, supporting students who need extra help, and closing out the semester while already looking ahead to the next one. Administrators and staff are doing the same, working to ensure a smooth and successful close to the term. It is a demanding stretch, and it is important to recognize the effort and professionalism it takes to get through it well. Our educators continue to show up each day focused on students, even during one of the most intense times of the academic year. I would also like to acknowledge the work of the board. Teachers recognize that serving on the board requires making difficult decisions, often with no perfect options. While those decisions are not easy, we believe that when they are well-informed, transparent, and include input from all stakeholders, and when you believe you are in the best interest of the district, it is important to act with clarity and confidence. Again, thank you for all the work that you do for the district. As we head into the holiday season, I want to extend a sincere thank you to the district leadership and our community for our continued partnership. On behalf of all teachers and staff, I wish everyone a restful and happy holiday season and a healthy, successful start to the new year. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our public participation for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you very much. Okay, our next part of our meeting is our student representative report, so I'm going to turn that over to Ria and Rohan Nagali.
Hi everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful fall break. Since our last meeting, students have been busy with academics, clubs, sports, and other extracurricular activities. The Student Council Secret Santa was very successful. Various clubs got involved to buy gifts for children, bringing students together for the holiday season. In addition, there were many student performances within the last few weeks, such as the Fanfares and Carols concert, the Jazz Band concert, the Holiday Madrigal concert, and the Donna Mavros student-directed plays. These events showcase the wide range of talents and interests of students at LT.
As we move further into the season, winter sports have been ramping up. Just last Friday, the boys basketball team pulled off a win against Hinsdale Central. Many students attended the game, appreciating the energetic atmosphere and sense of school spirit. The girls' gymnastics and boys' wrestling teams also performed well at recent meets. Last month, over 20 seniors across multiple sports signed their letters of intent to continue their athletic careers in college on signing day. We wish them good luck as they begin this exciting opportunity. As we approach the last few days of the semester, students are nervous and stressed about the upcoming final exams, but also look forward to well-deserved winter break. Many clubs have held study sessions and hosted holiday parties to relieve some of this stress. We hope everyone has a safe winter break, and we look forward to seeing you all next year. Thank you.
Thank you both. I know this isn't part of our tradition, but usually we don't give feedback back to you guys, but I did have a conversation with Dr. Waterman earlier today. He said that despite the episode that we had with the water main break at South Campus, with 2,000 students in your gym, everybody did excellent. So kudos to, not that it's a surprise, but share that back with your school community, because I think that just makes everybody really proud. So thank you guys for all the work that you guys have done so far this semester. I know it's a lot of time and energy outside of your days as well, so thank you.
Thank you.
So next up is Superintendent District Report. Dr. Waterman.
Thank you, President Alboris. I just want to start with a brief reminder that in the board's packet, you'll find a memo that provides the monthly FOIA report since our last meeting in November. And then, of course, I also wanted to mention, it's been said before, but we had I'll call it exciting, not an interesting day at South Campus today. But we did have a sprinkler system failure at South Campus near the Performing Arts Center. More specifically, it was a pipe that froze and then burst, causing flooding in our J wing and in our C wing as well. We initially evacuated the building outside, but then it was determined that the field house was safe, so we moved 2,000 students into our field house, which was slightly warmer than outside. Most of the students will return to their classrooms within about 30 minutes, with the exception of the students that were in those J and C classrooms. Our team was able to get all of their belongings to them, even though they weren't able to get back to their classroom. But most importantly, I want to thank our South Campus team, Greg Gardner, Adam Davis, Travis Hastings, Dr. Tyrell, and really every staff and student at South Campus for their composure in navigating through this difficult situation. It definitely took a team effort, and I thought they really did an awesome job all afternoon. I know that our students will be really disappointed in this, but our B&G team has done a great job of cleaning tonight, so we will have school tomorrow. That seems to be a common question that we're getting, is whether this will impact school tomorrow. It will not. We have our last day of the semester tomorrow before we have 3 days of final exams. So again, thanks to everyone who had a huge part in this, including our B&G team, who did a great job of cleaning everything up. And now we get to recognize some students and staff members tonight. So I'm going to move up to the front with President Alboris. This is one of the best parts of our year. This is our Q2 student recognition. And I want to start with, this is our National Honor Society Executive Board that we're honoring. We're actually honoring 2 student groups tonight, really with the theme or the focus of service and giving back to the community. Many people are probably familiar with the National Honor Society. It's a pretty prestigious organization that requires a lot of academic aptitude to get into. But the students we're recognizing tonight, we usually have about 300 to 400 students that make it into National Honor Society. But the students we're honoring tonight are actually the executive board of National Honor Society. And there is a service requirement for NHS. The executive board is the group that kind of keeps track of all this and really leads those 300 or 400 students through the year, making sure that they're doing everything they need to do in order to uphold those standards of National Honor Society. So it's our pleasure tonight to introduce the following students. Kieran Barnacle, Max DeMonte, Shar Abid, Hayden Fraser, Henry Gale, Alexis Jane, Mia Jovicic, and Blake McCracken. Again, congratulations and thank you to all of our National Honor Society Executive Board members for being recognized tonight. Another round of applause. So the second group of students and sponsors we would like to recognize are our older adult connections. And I want to first invite Tammy Miller and Kristen Sisto. They're 2 sponsors, and they're going to come up and they're going to talk a little bit about what Older Adult Connections does, not only within our school, but some of the really cool ways that they connect with our community as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are the lucky ones who get to work with an incredible group of students, and we are so grateful that they are going to be recognized tonight, and we know that you would rather hear from them because they're the ones that do so much of the work. So if y'all could come up here real quick and tell them what you do and why this club is so meaningful for you, I think everybody in this room would appreciate that a lot more than hearing from us. We'll switch to exact so they can. There's a crew of them.
These are all our leaders for the club too.
Whoever would like to go first.
Okay.
So, I'm Shika and I'm senior.
I'm Mia, I'm also a senior. I'm Carly, I'm a senior. I'm Tay, I'm also a senior.
I'm Tess and I'm a senior.
I'm Lila, I'm a senior.
I'm Anna and I'm a senior.
And we're Older Adult Connections, and throughout this club, we go to different senior living homes around the community.
Yeah. And when we visit these homes, we love to interact with the seniors in various ways. We do various activities with them, such as Jeopardy and playing board games. Also, recently we decorated gingerbread houses with them. During Halloween, we decorate pumpkins with them and love to make care packages for them and cards. And then we also collaborate with student council to run a senior citizens prom for them in April. So.
The purpose of our club Older Adult Connections is to build relationships between the older adults in our communities at all different retirement homes with the students at our school. And we do, like Anna said, we make conversation, we do games and crafts. And for many older adults, this is really meaningful to them because they a lot of times don't have a lot of interactions with the youth, so it means a lot to them.
And I've been a member of the club for 4 years, and then recently as a senior, I took on the role of a leader. And mainly because of the positive experience I've had as a member of the club. It's not only connected me with other students here at LT, but also with community members and also the elders in our community, which is really important because we get to listen to their stories and also they get to hear our stories and they get to have our youthful energy, which inspires them and also inspires us.
Yeah, same boat for me. I was in the club for about all of my years at high school, and I just really enjoyed being a part of the club because the games are fun, but I really just love talking to the senior citizens, finding out their story. And they also love to hear about the new stuff that our generation deals with. So that's funny to talk about too. But I really like to hear what they have to say, and they love to crack jokes too, so it's funny.
Yeah, I would also say a lot of where we visit hospice sections as well. So those people don't really tend to get a lot of visitors as it is. So being able to play games with them also is just a very fun time. It's kind of almost fun to say that.
I've been doing Older Adult Connections for the past 4 years, and the reason I joined was because I found it interesting that there was a way to bridge the gap between both generations, and you get to hear parts of their stories and also share a bond between, what we've gone through.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We first want to recognize our sponsors. We'll start with Tammy Miller. And Kristen Sisto. And then the students, Carly Granger. Holly Callis. Anna Lagavasaran. Sorry. Taya Maganye. Tess Mulvena. Chika Induka. Claire Nowak. Anna Pansing. And Lila Porter. As you can see, this is a shining example of the way that our amazing students and staff really connect with our outside community. So how about another round of applause? And our recognition is not over. We now, of course, get to recognize a staff member. So it's always my honor to present a Vita Plena Award. The Vita Plena Award has been presented by the superintendent to a deserving staff member going back to the mid-1990s. This award is generally presented to an individual who embodies the themes of inspiration, creativity, kindness, selflessness, and overall someone who goes above and beyond in service to our school community. As we look to honor a staff member with the Quarter 2 Award, Nancy Kalkowski was a natural choice. Nancy joined LT in October of 2005 in a temporary role, but then quickly transitioned into a permanent position as an administrative assistant in applied arts in June of 2006, where she also helped out with summer school. Since then, she has served in the offices of assessment and research, in the College and Career Center, then in her current role as registrar and administrative assistant in student services. Nancy holds a bachelor's degree in child development and was also a troop leader in Girl Scouts. Before joining LT, she worked in the financial aid office at DePaul as well as the World Academy of Irish Dancing as an administrative assistant also. Most importantly, we're just super proud to work with Nancy as she supports our staff, students, and community. And everything she does, and those who work with her know this, everything she does embodies what the Vita Plena Award really is all about, which is why we are honored to recognize her here tonight. And this award is also very timely because Nancy is retiring from LT at the end of this week. So huge congratulations on a well-deserved retirement and also on the Vita Plena Award. Nancy, congratulations, and thank you for all the ways that you support the LT community. She has some visitors here as well.
Just a couple.
She's going to introduce them.
This is my husband, Michael. This is my oldest daughter, Elizabeth, and her husband, Evan. This is my middle daughter, Emily. I'm so sorry. And this is my youngest daughter, Caroline, and my future son-in-law, Joe. And this is my sister, Barb, my brother-in-law, Mike, and my brother, Bob, and my sister-in-law, Tara.
This might be the biggest crowd that someone's brought with them. Which is awesome. And some co-workers over here.
Cheerleader. Katie Smith, my old boss. My older boss. And Cody Dale. Yay.
Love it.
Thank you so much for selecting me as the recipient for the Vita Plena Award. And I want you to know that it's truly been my honor and my privilege to serve the students and the families in this community, as well as to work alongside people like this and all of you at LT. And I'm going to miss you in January when I turn off my autopilot to South Campus and start my next chapter. Thank you so very much.
It really is an honor to recognize our students and our staff. And with that, I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. And that concludes my superintendent report, which is also now a great time to pause. People to leave. You're more than welcome to stay. However. So much fun.
Yeah, it's great. That's fine. Oh, there wasn't a lot of dry eyes after she.
Cute.
It's awesome.
Guys, good luck on finals.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. So we will begin this evening with the consideration of the approval of the second reading of Press 120 policy updates. I'll turn that over to Dr. Waterman.
Yeah, so as a reminder, the board discussed all of the recommended policy updates included within Press 120 at the December 1st Committee of the Whole meeting. This includes recommended updates from Press, also from our legal counsel review and our administrative team review as well. The policies that are included within your packet are reflective of the board's discussion on the first and will be the policies that are adopted pending board approval. I do want to point out that this includes answers to the two required questions for policy 660 and 6210. For policy 660, The recommendation is for the board to answer yes to the question of whether to include the teaching of Irish famine, because that reflects our current practice. In addition, the recommendation is for the board to answer yes to the required question in policy 6210, which will simply add the term primary to the instructional materials, which also reflects our current practice. So with that, our team is happy to answer any questions.
Those are the two big ones.
Yep.
I think we were pretty in agreement on the rest of them. All right. It sounds like there are not any additional questions or concerns, so can we have a motion to approve the Press 120 policy updates as presented?
So moved.
Second. Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Giannotti Fry?
Yes.
Member Kennedy?
Yes.
Member Lopez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Kazelka Campbell?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes, motion passes. Our next action item is the consideration of the approval of the 2025 tax year tax levy. Brian Stashak.
Thank you, President Alvarez. And so this is what, the third time or fourth time now that we've seen this. So we've had these discussions at multiple meetings. At this point, nothing has changed from what we have, what we've discussed. And so therefore, again, we've gone through all the math. All of that is here in your packet as well. Tonight, we're asking the board to approve that 2025 tax levy. You have all of the individual funds there and the amounts for each individual fund. The aggregate amount of that tax levy is $89,045,667 in the operating funds, which includes an amount for $60 million of new property. And as we've talked about, that probably won't happen. So we won't receive that money, but we will receive the money on any amount that we actually do, we find in the next levy. And then additionally, when we add in the bond and interest of $3,021,299, we come to a total proposed 2025 tax levy of $92,066,966. And that is an increase of 4.21% over the prior year. But again, that also includes that new property number that probably won't happen, but nonetheless, we levy for it, so we capture it in that first year. With that, I'd be happy to answer any final questions. This is the last time that you will see this until October of 2026. And so, again, happy to answer any questions on this information that you might have.
I think the first two, we got a lot of questions answered. No other questions, concerns? All right. That being said, then, can we have a motion to approve the 2025 tax year tax levy as presented?
So moved.
Second. Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Giannotti Fry?
Yes.
Member Kennedy?
Yes.
Member Lopez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels? Member Kazelka Campbell?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes, motion passes. Our next item is the consideration of approval of the 2025 bond and interest supplemental tax levy. Turn that back over to you, Brian Stashak.
Thank you, President Alborz. And this one we talked about at the committee of the whole meeting in December as well. And even though this number is included in that levy amount that that total levy amount that I just provided you for the bond and interest levy, the $3,021,299, in order to increase that levy annually with the consumer price index number this year of 2.9%, this is required to be a separate vote and resolution by the Board of Education. Prior to 2009, actually, districts were not allowed to raise the levy at all. And so after that came into play, we're able to do that, to raise that to match our bond and interest payments. And so, but we're required to take this separate resolution to do so. This will be turned in with the general levy that we just provided. Technically, it's not due, I think, until March, but I just do them now. I get them done and I turn them into the county and we're done, because it really makes sense since it's all together in that one levy number that we have. And so, again, that's the reason for the separate resolution. As mentioned in December, when we looked at the repayment schedule for the bonds that we sold in 23 and 24, it was assumed that we would be moving forward with these increases as the law permits.
Very good. Any questions, concerns? Seeing as there are no additional questions or concerns, can we have a motion to approve the 2025 bond and interest supplemental tax levy as presented? Second.
Second?
Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Kennedy?
Yes.
Member Lopez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Kazelka Campbell?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Giannotti Fry?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes, motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That concludes our unfinished business, and we will now move on to our new business. And our first agenda item is the consideration of approval of the resolution authorizing working cash fund loan to the educational fund.
Thank you, President
Sorry.
Alvarez. No, you're fine. You're
Turn it
fine.
over to Brian,
Yeah,
please.
thank you.
Thank you.
So numbers 1 and 2 here, I'm going to talk about these really together here. The board has to take separate votes on these resolutions, but the reasoning behind these is exactly the same. And so what we're asking the board today is to approve a temporary loan, if necessary, from the working cash fund in the amount of $1 million to the bond and interest fund, and then also in the amount of $4 million to the education fund. The reason that we're asking for this tonight is because, as you may know, Cook County property tax bills were late in going out this year. Didn't go out until the 15th of November, when they're usually out in August, somewhere in that timeline. And we're due actually today, I believe, on December 15th. What I can tell you is that the normal process is such that once those tax bills are out, we would usually start seeing distributions from Cook County of those tax dollars that we are owed. And that usually would occur within the first couple of weeks. We'd see some small distributions, and then as we arrive at the due date, as people are paying their taxes, we start to see some really large sums of money coming in that the district is due based on its prior tax levy. We have not received one distribution from the county yet. We were told initially, and really, I'll be honest, what I've heard is everything through my professional organization. We've not heard anything from the county, any explanation from the county at all, although the only thing we've heard from them is that when they jump out into the media and they say, well, we've had problems with the new software, and that's all that we've heard. And so the first problem was that there were issues actually determining what the tax bills were supposed to be, and then getting those out. I think they corrected that, and now we're told that there are issues with how to distribute the money to all of the taxing bodies. And so really what we're doing here is, without having any of those distributions, and referring back to what I mentioned earlier with the fund balances in our funds, those are some of the lowest fund balances I've seen since I've been here, because we're really operating since March of 2025 without substantial property tax dollars. And so this is one of those times where, having a healthy, reliable fund balance is actually a good thing, because you're able to survive on those. In the absence of that, you have to go out and you literally have to sell tax anticipation warrants, which means it's a short-term borrowing program, and you're borrowing that money, you're paying interest back on those. We're not there yet. However, I'll get to that in a second. So anyway, this resolution allows us to just temporarily move this money. What's important for the board to note is that this is just a ledger transfer, okay? This is not an issue that we're short on cash yet. So it's just that the cash is, as you saw earlier, distributed in the different funds. And so ultimately, I've also had this conversation with our auditors. This will probably, these transfers will be fine in the bond and interest fund, because we have a bond and interest payment that actually went out Friday that was due today of $2.3 million. So we have 1.5 in there. I'm moving $1 million in. We'll have about 200,000 left. The next payment that comes out of that fund will be in June of 2026. So we should be okay there. In the education fund, however, what's going to happen is we'll move this $4 million over, again, if needed, if we don't see any distributions in the coming days, we'll move it over there. It will probably keep us from having a negative balance in that fund in December, but in January, we will probably go negative in that fund. Now, that does not mean that we've run out of money, cash. That means the ledger account would go negative. I've had the conversation with our auditors, because typically they would look at that and say, hey, what's going on here? Why? And I've already talked to them, and they are fully aware of what the explanation is, and there would be no, they're not going to have a finding or anything along those lines if that happens. If this was to continue, we're looking at the amount of cash that we have looking at what our projected expenses are going to be, we are good through January and most likely through February at this point. If we get to the point where we haven't seen any tax distributions through February, we could be in a situation where we'd be looking to short-term borrow money. I don't know, I don't think we're gonna get there, but honestly, I don't know right now. An email that I had on Friday was, don't expect any distributions from the county until potentially February 1st. So I don't know where they're at in this process. Again, the county has not said anything to us at all, but that's where we are. And so I'm keeping an eye on it, of course, and we will continue to watch that. It's possible that we would, look, if the county can get a distribution together this week, or before December, we wouldn't even need these resolutions, these transfers. So that's why we're asking the board to approve it, if necessary, essentially, is how they're written. And so if we have to, we would use it for December to keep us from going negative. But again, if we end up in a situation where we receive some distributions, we might not have to do it. So in which case, I would let the board know at the next meeting, we did receive some distributions, we didn't go negative in those funds, and so we're fine. But again, stressing the point, we are not in a situation where we're short on cash. That's not an issue. Ledger account, yes, but we will continue to evaluate the amount of cash we have based on all of our expenses in December and then in January. And of course, we would bring something back to the board if we needed to borrow money. That is, the process for that is, it is such that we would have to take a parameters resolution, have the board approve that, and then we would need to go out and sell those tax anticipation warrants. That process takes about 4 weeks. So we would probably, if we don't see any changes in the distributions, there's the potential that in January, we might ask the board to approve a parameters resolution, because we don't actually have to sell the tax anticipation warrants if we don't need them. So this is really all dependent upon when the county is able to start providing us these property tax distributions. And just for round numbers, the county currently owes us about $45 million. And so that's where we're at in that second collection of our 2024 tax levy. Tonight's was a 2025, which we approved, but in that second collection for 2024, it's about $45 million in that ballpark that we're owed right now. And so if you're wondering, the answer to the question is yes, we are losing interest earnings because we do not have those dollars to invest. As we see those dollars come in, we ladder those, so we have longer and short-term investments that we don't have right now. So we're losing investment interest income on the money that we don't have right now. And if we were to then have to go to, selling the tax anticipation warrants, we would also then be paying out interest on those dollars that we borrowed. So it's not a great situation. I don't have any great answers in terms of a timeline, but that's why we're asking the board to approve these two resolutions tonight.
And just to clarify, this is not a situation that's unique to LT. This is
No.
what schools in Cook County are dealing with.
And certainly in the years that I've been at the board, this has never happened before. Has it happened in your experience?
So the county has been late before.
Sure. Yeah.
They have been late in these, because I think it was one of the years around the time of COVID, where if I remember correctly, they didn't get the tax bills out and have them due until like December.
Yeah.
But that process that I talked about earlier started. They started bringing the money in, and then they started distributing it. Right now, we've not seen any distributions at all. So that's the real delay here in terms of where they're at with that. And I'd like to have an update for you, but I don't. It's what I'm hearing through my professional organization, and that's all that I know. And some of the information I've had is kind of all over the board. We've heard that maybe there will be a distribution this week, maybe not till sometime in February. So
it sounds like from what you've said that there won't be any impact on our school rating.
no, this has nothing to do with the long-term financial health of the district.
I just want to clarify that.
Yes.
This is just
Correct.
just to make
Yes, this is,
match it together, if you will.
yes, nothing to do with the long-term financial rating of the district. This only has to do, it's really more short-term with cash flow in the district. That's all that it is. It doesn't change our financial statements. It doesn't do anything along those lines.
Right, go ahead.
No, please.
Couple of questions.
we can't, the interest that we're losing.
Yeah.
Plus the interest that we might have to pay.
Yeah.
We can't recoup that.
Well, I don't know that.
Okay.
There is currently some discussion about how, I don't know how much money the county's sitting on right now, but again, this is from every taxing body in Cook County is what they're sitting on. Is it $500 million? Is it $1 billion? I don't know the answer to that number, but certainly I would assume it's somewhere and it's earning interest. And so are we entitled to that? We're looking into that right now with some other school districts.
Another question I have, and I don't, I'm guessing that you can't answer this, but why can't they make like what I would call a safe harbor payment, right? Get something out.
Yep.
Instead of sitting on it and having it be zero. If I do my quarterlies with my CPA and I don't know what my numbers are, he
Right.
says add 10% to what you did last quarter.
Yeah.
Just get something out to the government so you don't get, why, what? Again, I don't know if you can answer that question, but why sit on $500 million to $1 billion and not get some? Because I'm guessing other school districts are in probably worse shape than we are.
Yeah,
And
some
they're
have already
really
had to sell the tax anticipation
Right.
warrants. I'd love to answer your question, and I can't. It is a great question. I've talked about that with my colleagues in other districts, that at this point, it would make complete sense for them to say, look, we know how much your levy is because we have that dollar amount. Here's 50% of that money, right? Distribute it to us, and then as you go and you fix your system, you can true that up.
Right.
That can happen at a later date, which is kind of what they do anyway, over the course of the distributions and the course of probably 2 to 3 months are coming up. So you could do that. I don't know the answer to the question. So I apologize for that.
No, I'm, because you don't have any control, I mean, but
Right.
it just seems to me it would be pretty obvious to have something get out in the system and then, as you said, reconcile it later on.
Yes.
Instead of having zero.
Right.
You answered my question, so anyone else, any questions or concerns? Not great news, for sure.
Thank you, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the work on it.
Well, I'll continue to monitor this and bring the board up to speed in January in terms of if we've seen any distributions, what that's looked like, and do we need to potentially look at a resolution for those tax anticipation warrants. So I'd rather do it at the January meeting if we could and not have to have a special board meeting to do it at the last minute. I'd rather just do it. We have it, and then if we need them, we can go out and do it.
That makes sense.
If we don't need it, it just goes away. We don't have to
Correct.
worry about it.
Yeah, that's my understanding, and I'll verify all of that before we would do that, but that's my understanding. We could take the resolution, and we don't have to do it if we don't need it.
Great.
Okay. Can we have a motion to approve the 2025 bond and interest supplemental? Nope,
Next one,
sorry.
Next one.
My computer is slowing down, so I had to go back to paper here. Can we have a motion to approve the resolution authorizing working cash fund loan to the educational fund as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Lopez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Gazelka Campbell?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Giannotti Fry?
Yes.
Member Kennedy?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes, motion passes. All right.
And just this next motion, because Brian already talked about that.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
so can we have a motion to approve the resolution authorizing working cash fund loan to the bond and interest fund as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Gazelka Campbell?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Giannotti Fry?
Yes.
Member Kennedy?
Yes.
Member Lopez?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes, motion passes. Okay. Our next agenda item is the consideration of approval to create bid specifications for summer 2026 life safety projects. Turn that back to you, Brian Stascia.
Thank you, President Elbors. And so you may recall back at the November meeting, the board had approved the updated 10-year life safety survey, and there was about $2.5 million worth of work on that survey in projects, various projects that they're kind of all over the place. But what we're asking the board to do tonight is to approve creation of bid specifications for what we kind of targeted about $500,000 of that life safety work that's out there. In particular, we're looking here at North Campus, starting to knock out some of the door projects, those types of things here at North Campus. And then we're also going to look at what else we can get in there. We're working with the architects to do this. And so Again, looking at about $500,000. The bid specifications, assuming the board approves that, would be created. We would put those out on the street for bid. And again, they would contain items from that, specifically from that life safety survey. And so we would put that out on the street, have the bids come back, and then we would share those with the board. And we would discuss the lowest responsible bidder, and then potentially have the board approve a contract with that company at a coming meeting here. And so, in addition to that, on the consent agenda, I've applied for the school maintenance grant through the state of Illinois, which is a $50,000 grant from the state that can be applied toward, potentially, I think, will be applied toward this particular project. So it's $50,000. We have to match the $50,000, but if we're at $500,000, it's not a problem. We're $400,000 over our match anyway. And so that's what I've written the grant for, is for essentially for this particular project to receive that $50,000. And again, we would, as we work with the architects to kind of get ourselves to about that $500,000 mark, we could bring back to the board and show you what we've taken off of that list and what we're looking to accomplish in that summer of 2026. So that being said, I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding this item.
Does that 50,000, what does that go to? Like what does that money will be applied to? Like the doors or lighting, or
Yeah.
Is there specific usage for that money?
Correct. I've written the grant so that we're looking at the doors.
So that's what they're.
So that's where it would go for. Yeah. I mean,
$100,000 by the time.
right.
of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. Well, you might not be
No,
surprised, but you'd be surprised at how much doors cost when you
No,
start talking
it's
about
just
these.
like $100,000
Yeah.
for doors.
Right. When you start talking about doors and frames, I'm telling you, it adds up really quickly.
I hear
So,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Brian, I had a question. So there's obviously, of the $500,000, there's 10, 15, 20 different things that total up that $500,000.
Right.
If somebody gives us a bid that they have a section that's lower than everybody else, but their number was high, like, can you say, we want you to do the doors because you were the cheapest, we want you to do this because you were the cheapest, we want you to do, as opposed to just hiring somebody that's at the lowest number? Is that ever a possibility?
It is only if we bid it that way.
Okay.
So what we would have to do is we would have to take each individual, the way we look at it would be trade, right? We would have to take each individual trade and bid all of those out separately. Sometimes that's helpful and sometimes it's not. And the reason I say that is because sometimes you might get some better pricing, but you also might get some better pricing if the project total is $500,000, you might see some better pricing as opposed to somebody who has a $350,000 portion of that, somebody who has $100,000, somebody has a $50,000. Altogether with a general contractor, you might see some better pricing that way too. It's sort of an economy of scale, if you will. So,
Bulk it up.
yes.
That's basically what the architects do, right? They strategize on putting the bid specs together and figure out the best way to put it
Right.
on the street.
And
they think of all those types of things.
Right, and to Dr.
$5 million project, obviously, they're really gonna sharpen their pencils to figure that out.
Yeah.
$500,000, maybe not as.
Right. Well, and to Dr. Waterman's point, if the architects look at this and we say, hey, look, we're going to do, because of timing, whatever the case may be, we're going to do $300,000 worth of doors, and we're going to do $200,000 of something else, and they think it makes more sense to bid that separately, then we would go and do it.
And can you remind me again, what is the, is there, the way that DLA, the fees are structured to put together the bid specifications, is it a percentage of this total
Yes.
project?
Yes, it's a sliding scale percentage on the project.
Okay.
And so, of course, the higher the total number on the project, the lower the percentage that they're charging us, yes. I don't know exactly what they would charge us in this, but I would, just to be safe, let's, and I don't think that this is the number, but if it was 10%, it'd be $50,000, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
Just got some. So, when we're doing the $500,000, then I think this is probably something that's come up before.
Mhm.
Does that include the amount that we're paying DLA, or is that in addition to? Because I think that's something we need to clarify. I believe they're paid in addition to the $500,000.
They would be if we said, look, we're going to do $500,000 work. We also have the opportunity to say, look, we're going to do $400,000 or $450,000. If your fees are $50,000, we leave it at a total of $500,000.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that's something really to talk about, because
Yeah.
especially when we're given the fact that, you know, we're gonna be so tight coming into what we have, not knowing, especially when you hear about health insurance going up more and things like that. To really make it clear, is it, what is that amount? Is it in addition to, or does that include it?
I have no problem saying we would do 450,000, and then we would add the architect fees in for a total of $500,000. I have no problem with that, and they wouldn't either.
Because also then we put in like the cushion too, because we always put in that extra.
Yeah.
So I mean, because I would hate to see the 500, I mean, I'm just throwing out a number, the 500 be like 560 with, the, you know, the cushion things going
Yeah.
over it, because then that's a big percentage to go up. I mean, I understand it's very important to have the life and safety done, but also when we have the other things that we need to do,
Right.
just to give that leeway. That
Sure.
makes,
That makes complete sense. And the scope of these projects is not the scope of what we've just done, thankfully, in terms of looking at what can change in the course of the project. So I would not anticipate a large change order or something. As you get smaller projects, it's not as frequent that you would have those larger change orders. So, but completely understood, and that's the route we can go.
And so with regard to this, when this, if we obviously give them, will there be, I know sometimes we talk later in the year about additional projects that we would be doing for the summer. Would that come, is that gonna come back up again, or is this kind of what we should be expecting for 26?
Well, yes, this is what we would be expecting for 26 at that point.
Okay.
Plus, remember also, we are still finishing the second half of the project here at North Campus.
Right.
So we will have the lower level and first floor of North Campus will look like the second and third floor did last year. So that part of that project is still going on. It's not half of the project, but it's probably 30% still left of that project to finish. And then we would have this going on, this project going on as well.
Carrie, you're
And-
probably talking about the capital equipment that comes to the board in May.
Well, yeah, some of that, I know, and then like, I know in the past, like, we've had other projects, things like paving and things like that.
Yeah.
that we've
Roofs,
worked
the roof stuff.
too. And I just wanna
That's,
know. right,
that's
are we
all,
gonna-
that's already been talked
That's-
about. That was
okay,
talked
so we don't
about
have to
as
worry
part of
about
the
that.
project,
And-
yeah.
And to that point, just that if we're gonna do bid specifications, to your point about the scale and stuff, if there's anything else that they need, I guess I'm just saying, if there's anything else that we should be asking them to look into or provide, but bid specifications on, it'd probably be good to be doing it now all together, not have to do this again at any other point in the year.
Correct, and we've talked about
Okay.
that. And there is, there's, I don't want to say that there's nothing else. I mean, certainly there are other things.
Yeah.
However,
That's what
I
we can
do think,
This is what we can do. right
yeah,
now.
I feel right now that what we need to do is finish the project here at North Campus, and this is my recommendation. We finish the project here at North Campus. We finish paying off all of those projects. We obtain this year's audit, which we'll have, I believe, in January for the board. We can review those fund balances at that point, and then we can look to the summer of 2027 to see what else we want to do. But it almost feels like a little bit of, after we've come off of, you know, the $46 million worth of projects, that, and we've used fund balance for those, which is fine, but I think we probably need a short reset here to say, hey,
See where we're
let's see where we're at. Let's see where again, the fund balances are at the end of the 25 year. We'll have that for you shortly. And then let's come back and, you know, let's say the board says, hey, look, we have $1 million that we want to go out with for 2027. Those projects we could start setting up in the fall of 2026 to be completed in the fall of 2027. With, again, the reason that we're looking at these is because what I'd like to do is, since we had about $2.5 million worth of work, I'd like to keep this on track so that there's about $500,000 a year that we talked about over the 5-year period. So we're not sitting here 3 years from now or 4 years from now going, well, we have $2.5 million and we don't have the money to do it at that point. So I would rather sort of piece this out into smaller projects, get those done as we go, and then, like I said, we can do a quick reset on where we are financially after we get the financial statements for this year, look at, as you mentioned, medical insurance, all those kinds of things, see where we are, and then we can make some decisions about the summer of 2027.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So do you feel, like, I mean, like, not having all the numbers, because it takes me a lot to like soak it in, but with this 500,000 and the other things planned, that we would not have to go into the fund balance for this 500,000?
So the rest of the project, that was already accounted for. So we owe, I don't know, Zavor's Mechanical, I think about $2.5 million left on that project. But that was already accounted for in our fund transfers that we made. So I think, again, I have to go back, but based on what we looked at, the 5-year forecast last year, I don't think $500,000 would put us in a position where we'd have to go into the fund balance.
Because that's, I mean, and then if we were to, I mean, I guess then the other question would be if we vote on this to go out for bid specifications, that's not meaning we're going to necessarily do the work.
That's also
We
correct.
can have more information then at that time.
That's also
to
correct.
assess it, because
To create them.
Correct.
right, so.
Yep.
And then if we're looking at the cost to create, we'd pay that cost regardless.
We would.
of
And in
that.
theory, we're gonna need those at some point, right?
Right.
Because they're
Yes.
life safety items, so
Right.
whether we need them now or need them down the road,
Yeah,
we're
They
gonna.
won't go away.
Yeah.
So if the board says, hey, look,
So
yeah,
we
this,
get more.
right, hey, look, this is too much, we'll do the project at another time. Those bids, we put them on the shelf and then we reuse them again.
Yeah, because I just don't know, I mean, personally, like from where we've gone, I couldn't vote to go into the fund balance anymore. And would want to avoid that.
Yep.
So the two things that I do like about this, one, we're talking about doors. That's a
Right.
huge safety issue. I know we've seen our doors be replaced here and they look wonderful, but more importantly, they're safe, right? Like, that's a big key factor for me. And then the other thing that I liked hearing about is the idea of a reset. Let's finish up these
Yeah.
big projects. Let's sit down again and talk about what are our priorities? What are, you know, if, whether or not that means going out to our community and getting some input from them or having more discussions here as a board. But I do like the idea of us putting that time and energy into some of those safety things. I think that's really important, so I'm good with it. But anybody else, any other comments, questions?
I just think Jill brings up a good point, is we don't have to go forward with it if we decide at that time it's
Right.
not.
Yeah, just it's a lot to make I mean, my thought is it's a lot right now to say, okay, that sounds great for 500,000 without knowing it and where we're gonna end and everything, and just to be,
Yeah.
I just wanna be thoughtful
Yeah.
Yep.
of our fiduciary duty.
It's a good point, and again, I will have that financial information. We should have it final with our auditors for January to review for FY '25. And so that'll give us a little bit more clarity in terms of where we ended the '25 year. And so that, you know, that'll be helpful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
All right, can we have a motion to approve the creation of bid specifications for summer of 2026 life safety projects as presented?
So moved.
Marilyn, will you please call roll?
Member Kazelka Campbell,
Yes.
Member Dillon,
Yes.
Member Giannotti Fry,
Yes.
Member Kennedy,
Yes.
Member Lopez,
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels,
Yes.
Member Alvarez.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brian, for your work on this. Our next item is the approval of the Board of Education reimbursement expenses for the 2025 Joint Annual Conference III. On August 18th, 2025, the board approved initial costs incurred for the III Joint Annual Conference registrations totaling $4,239. Tonight, we are including the compiled and additional final total expenses incurred during the conference and are seeking board approval for those costs in the amount of $484.21. I will throw a little side note on this one. I did appreciate this conference very much. Matter of fact, some of the things that I learned, and I think I can speak for many, in our legal conferences and seminars and best practices were even being used tonight for our press policy. There's a lot of conversations about what we're doing with our curriculum. So, in my opinion, it's a great way for us to improve our professional development, understanding of board roles in the state of Illinois. So, again, I think it was money well spent. Any other comments, questions? Otherwise, we will look for the approval. All right. Can we have a motion to approve the final reimbursement expenses in the amount of $484.21 as presented?
So moved.
Second, very good. Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Dillon,
Yes.
Member Giannotti Fry,
Yes.
Member Kennedy,
Yes.
Member Lopez,
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels,
Yes.
Member Kazelka Campbell,
Yes.
Member Alvarez.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, I lost my spot for a second. Our next agenda item is informational, a presentation of operational expenditures to cash balance report. Brian Stashak.
Thank you, President Elbors. This is a relatively new requirement from the state of Illinois. And what we are required to do with this is, I'm not sure, you have the spreadsheet there. I'm not sure what page that is in your book. But ultimately, what the state asks us to do is to, in this spreadsheet, average out, input expenditures for each one of our main operating funds, the Educational Fund, Operations Maintenance Funds, Transportation Fund, for the last 3 years, average those total expenses out, and then determine what our reserve cash balance was at the end of the most recent fiscal year. And if the number is higher than 2.5 times that, we then would have to submit to the State Board of Education a report that says what we are going to do to spend down some of those, that fund balance to get it below that 2.5 number. And so we have some preliminary FY '25 numbers in here from our audit. I've worked with our auditors on these, so we think these are pretty close. I can tell you that even if they change a little bit, if you look, we're at 0.531 at $47 million. Now, this also does not include all of our funds. These are just the main operating funds. And so we are well within the range of the 2.5, or below the 2.5, and so there is no action needed, as you see on the spreadsheet. There's no board action required on this, and so this tonight just simply becomes for information.
But required for us to present this each.
That's all it is required to be presented at a board meeting.
Any questions, concerns on that?
Every year, right?
Every year.
Okay.
At least until they change the law.
Right.
Yes.
All right,
That's helpful.
very good. So we have now reached the consent agenda portion of our meeting. Our consent agenda includes the following items. Payment of bills and financial statements for LTHS and LADSI for month of November 2025. Approval of the Illinois School Maintenance Grant application that we were discussing. Approval of memorandum of understanding for the Lyons Township Paraeducator Association collective bargaining agreement. Approval of stipend committee recommendations. Review and approval of meeting minutes. Approval of overnight student travel as recommended by the administration. And approval of donations.
You missed
Are
an
there-
item, President Alvarez.
Did
the-
I?
Of
I'm sorry.
human resources.
There-
Underneath
item
the Illinois
3.
School Maintenance Grant.
I'm sorry. Hey, which one?
Approval of human resources
Oh,
items.
I did that. Approval of human resource items for LTHS and LADSI. Sorry about that. Are there any items that the board would like to pull and discuss separately? All right. The only thing I would like to say is a big thank you to everyone that made those donations for Care Space, right? So thank you to those. Can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So move.
Second.
All right. Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Giannotti Fry?
Yes.
Member Kennedy?
Yes.
Member Lopez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Kozolka Campbell?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes, motion passes. Thank you very much. Next is our second no public participation, so it is 8:03. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays,
holidays.
everyone.